This is a question released by the state. It says the topographic map shows several features associated with the river, which is shown in blue. All right, so I'm going to look over here and make sure that that makes sense. Yep, this looks like a topographic map. I represent these lines as contour lines, and I see that there is a blue line, and so that represents a river. If I take a minute, I can see that it looks like the rivers originate from the tops of, we know these to be mountains right here. Looks like there are 3 mountains. And here's a body of water. Okay, so I'm just observing some things. A says, move into each blank box a landform that identifies the feature shown. And B says, move into each blank box a process label that identifies how the feature was formed. And we're supposed to move only 2 labels into each box, and they let us know that we don't need to use all the labels. So I'm going to look at this landform and processes, and I'm first going to identify what's a landform and what's a process. So canyon, landform. Mountain, landform. Delta, landform. Erosion, process. Deposition, process. Plate movement, process. Erosion, process. Deposition, process. And, okay, plate movement, process. So these are processes, and these are landforms. So I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to say, okay, this one is pointing to, and because I know how to read a topographic map, I know this is a mountain. So I would move the word mountain, and I can't do this on here, but you would click and drag mountain into this box. Okay, so then I also have to decide erosion, deposition, or plate movement as the process for that. Well, when I think of mountains, I think about all the times we studied plate tectonics and so on, talked about plates coming together to make mountains. So I put plate movement here. Now, then I go down here, and they're showing me this river, and there's got to be some kind of a landform that happens there. So I'm thinking now, wait, the river starts at the top of the mountain. It rains, it rains, it rains, and then, of course, that water runs off into this body of water. Well, I'm leaving a mountain, so we know rivers are really, really good at carving things out, this mountain. So when I look at these choices, I've used mountain. Canyon would be really good for here. Now, here's an example of a river that is leaving a mountain and it's headed somewhere else, and you can totally see that a canyon is forming there. Now down here, oh, and then of course this, as it's moving, whenever you have water moving, you're going to have erosion. And then it exits here. Now I'm thinking water's leaving a mountain and it runs into another body of water, and we've talked about, or if you just even think about life, you know that it would slow down. Think, if you were on a slide, this is like a slide. You're going down, 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 down. You hit another body of water, you slow down. And we know that when water slows down, it can't carry the sediments or the load, so it's going to deposit. And this feature right here is called a delta. Now, here's a satellite picture. This is the Nile River, and it's going downhill, and this is the Mediterranean Sea right here. So this is going downhill this direction, and when it hits the Mediterranean Sea, it slows down, and all the stuff that it was carrying gets deposited. Here's another picture of a delta. There's a river, and it hits another body of water, and it starts depositing sediments. And those sediments build up enough that plants start to grow on them. So when we go back to this, in each blank, it would end up looking like you would put plate movement caused a mountain. Oops. Then, sorry about that. Then, let me just move this box. Then a canyon resulted from erosion. And then a delta formed because of deposition.